Okay, now we're going to go on to Kenston Building and Department update, and we invite Mr. McDevitt to come up and give an update on, I think, KIS?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to quickly update everyone on where we're at with KIS. You've seen hopefully you've seen a lot of our communications that have gone out. What essentially happened is we had an extended power outage over the holiday break, and that building is heated through a boiler system and the old school 1960 univents that have hot water running through them. And when the power went out, the boilers were not operating, the water in the pipes froze. And go back to science class, what happens when water freezes? It expands. And all said and done, we lost about 13 of our heating coils. It all happened on the west-facing side of the fifth grade hall, which if you go back the day before Christmas, we had high winds and record low temperatures. The wind was hitting that wall. Everything on the east actually did not freeze. But once, I think Christmas was Sunday, so Monday night into Tuesday after Christmas, it warmed up enough that the ice in the pipes started to thaw, and we had water everywhere. Started on the second floor, went across the hall, affecting rooms on both sides. Water then came down through the floor. Looked like a war zone, to be honest with you. And since that time, we've been on cleanup mode. The building's been shut down. I'm happy to say we've made great progress. I think the administrative team did a great job of getting the kids back in school as quickly as we did. And as of today, we are ahead of schedule on the cleanup. We're hopefully less than 2 weeks away from being able to open that space back up. We ran into one issue because in a building of that age, we have to test for asbestos. Underneath the carpet on the first floor, the tiles that are down are asbestos tiles because they're from 1960, and the carpet's glued down. And so we didn't want to risk trying to get the carpet up and chipping tiles, because once you chip tiles, you're exposing that asbestos. So we stopped before any of the carpet started to get removed and did a full abatement of that building. That abatement was completed by Friday morning of last week, and by Friday afternoon, we had the air test back saying you're good to go. So I got the electricians, the ceiling tile, all those folks back in the building. They worked Saturday, they worked Sunday. They've been working long hours every day, and like I said, we're moving along well. I do want a couple shout outs because I was here over break a lot, but obviously I couldn't do this all myself. Dave Parker, who's my lead maintenance worker, put endless hours in. Him and I were talking on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, the day after, and I think he texted me at like 4 a.m. and said, "You need to get up here." And the water is about 6 inches deep in some of those downstairs classrooms. And he was here nonstop. We have a kind of a skeleton crew over break because a lot of people take vacations. Reese Todia, one of our maintenance guys, came in several times on his vacation to assist Dave. Katie McGrath was here getting those communications out. Mrs. Walker, I called. It's her building. Obviously, first-year principal, the last thing you want to deal with is a flooded hallway. But she came up. We had the entire custodial staff from the high school show up, and we basically spent that whole day extracting water. Serve Pro, who's a restoration company, I was on the phone with them by 7 a.m. on Tuesday, and they were up here by 7:30. Serve Pro has been great to deal with and really have led this project, at least the restoration part. It's going to be a large insurance claim, so I'll be dealing with the insurance company for the next few months. Shout out to Paul as well, because Paul, in terms of working with the treasurer who's overseeing the money, he's been great. I'm running into his office and it's scary. It's like, oh, here's another 30, here's another 30, here's another. And Paul kept this moving. The last thing we want to do is hit delays where they're like, well, wait till the insurance approves this. And then we've been able to just keep the ball rolling, and we're in pretty good shape. The biggest challenge we're going to have ahead of us is getting the stuff back into the rooms. And teachers are going to have to come in. All of their stuff was boxed. and we threw out a lot that was saturated, but then there's stuff we put in boxes that seem dry, but we don't know what those boxes are gonna be like when they open them up. So the teachers are still gonna have some work ahead of them, but I think we'll be in good shape here sooner than later. All the porous surfaces in those classrooms was ripped out, because that's the concern, what's gonna happen with mold and mildew down the road. All the ceilings came out and all the carpet came out. That building has block walls like this. Those walls were washed down. We'll continue to do air testing and make sure the environment is perfectly safe before our staff or our students return. But best case scenario, we talked, I'm looking at the week of the 23rd. I don't want to pin a date down because there's a lot of factors that'll play into that. I also have 13 classrooms that need their heating units fixed, which means the coils were ordered, they have to come in, they have to be installed, and the controls have to be reinstalled. So it's not just putting new carpet and ceiling in. There's a lot of work still ahead of us, but everything's moved along well. And, you know, shout out to the middle school in Timmins for taking those kids on. First day today went very well. So all said and done, it's been a bad situation, but those classrooms are actually gonna look better than they did before. We have more modern lighting, new carpet, so if you want to find a positive, there's a nice little makeover to your fifth grade hallway. Some questions I've seen in the community is why did it only hit fifth grade? Our fourth grade wing is a newer area of the building that does not use hot water heat. They have rooftop units, heat and cooling. The fifth grade, unfortunately, does not have the air conditioning. They have the old system of hot water. So fourth grade was not impacted at all. The gym, the cafeteria, the offices, none of that area was impacted. It was basically that main hall in the building where the fifth grade is housed and our media center. So we're moving along.
I just want to thank you as well. I did learn about the flood, obviously, and went over and Paul showed me around a little bit. It did look like a war zone.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank Steve and you, Jeremy, and Katie and Julianne. I mean, has done an amazing job, and Katie with the communication. Like, I've heard from more fourth and fifth grade parents than I have ever heard from before, and all they say is the communication has been absolutely outstanding. It's been often, it's been clear, it's been very informative. We're not hiding anything. You disclose the asbestos, which, you know, people don't really understand that it's common and it's not harm to be in the building unless you disturb it.
Right,
and so I really appreciated the fact that we just got that out there immediately so nobody had to worry about it. And the other buildings are just like embracing fourth and fifth grade. They're adopting the teachers. They're really pulling together. So I just want to thank everybody involved because it's been like, I'm sure there's hiccups and it's okay to have a hiccup and you deal with it as it comes along, but everything's been really very well taken care of. So thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. And Paul, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we expect more hiccups as we go here.
Sure.
And we're fine tuning things, but like I said, for the most part, you know, the people that have been involved have done great work, so very pleased.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would just add thank you to the teachers too. I mean, their little worlds have been disrupted
Yeah.
and they got some unpacking to do, so thanks to them as well.